grudge to your grave. And I just felt inspired to make this video today about grudges because I had a friend who was at a family funeral where there are about 5 sisters who've all had a falling out, and one of the sisters had died. It was her funeral, and of course they were all holding grudges against each other. They were still holding a lot of hate and resentment. Now they're in their 80s, they're like on death's bed, they got one foot in the grave, and I'm like thinking about this and wondering how long does it take to forgive someone? Do you think that maybe at someone's funeral, at a family funeral, that would be a good time to start forgiving each other, especially when you're in your 80s and your 90s? Are you going to take that hate and resentment to your grave and then into the afterlife, and then possibly when you get recycled back again, like if you believe in reincarnation, for instance, it can affect your next life? This unresolved resentment and not forgiving, not letting go. Maybe when you're 80 years old and 90 years old and you're at the funeral of one of your sisters or brothers or mothers or fathers, whoever it may be, a family member, do you think that now is the time to forgive them? Or do you think you should take that over into your grave? And like 2 of the sisters who had fallen out with each other and hadn't spoken to each other for years, they were sitting together at the funeral, and like I think that maybe dementia had set in and they probably couldn't even remember each other. That's why they were happy to sit together. So you wait till you get dementia and then you forget about the issue you had, the grudge that you had, the grudge that you've been holding for decades. I mean, this must have been going on for decades. It could have been going on for 30 years. Is it time, when you're at someone's funeral who you've had a falling out with, and then all the other relatives that you've fallen out with as well, and that you've had grudges with, is this a good time to forgive and let go at the funeral? Because you're going to be dead soon. One of them's already keeled over. Your turn's probably next. You're like 90, nearly 100 years old. Do you think maybe now's the time to start forgiving? I thought, well, the 2 sisters that were sitting together at the funeral who hated each other's guts, they were sitting together probably because they forgot who they were. Because they're so freaking old, they got dementia and forgot about it. Forgot that they even had a grudge. But then their kids still remembered, and their kids were still holding the grudge on behalf of the elderly parents. So there was still tension in the air, even at this funeral. And I just thought, gosh, isn't it time to just get it up already? You're that bloody old, you're nearly 100, you're going to be dead soon. What's the friggin' point? Why take that to your grave and get buried with it? I just had to get that off my chest and say what other people think about that situation. And is life too short to be holding grudges for that long? I'm talking decades, until they die with it. They get buried with it. They get buried with this hate. They get buried with this resentment. I think it's crazy. I think maybe you're going to get too old one day. When you're getting that old, aren't you too old? Isn't it time just to give it up? Because you're going to be dead soon. Either just have forgiveness, just forget. You're probably going to forget anyway, because you're probably going to get dementia and lose your mind and forget everything that you were pissed off about anyway. And most of these family problems, issues, start with funerals and over stuff, arguing over who gets what when someone dies. This is how these families work, and this is how it starts. This is how the grudges start. Oh, someone inherited a bowl and the other sister wanted the bowl, and then all the other sisters ganged up on each other because of some bowl, which is just a thing that got passed down by the deceased mother or the deceased father, and they're all arguing over it. A bowl, for goodness sake, a bowl. Some porcelain antique bowl or something. It's probably not even worth anything. But they're arguing over it, and this has gone on for decades, till they get buried with it at the next funeral, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on.